Hello, this is Yariv from Secure from Scratch. In this video, I will talk about logging. In the next video, we will see a logging vulnerability. What is logging? Logging is like prints. It outputs messages. Boring, right? But in 2007, in OWASP Top 10, insufficient logging was ranked as the 10th most critical issue in the world of vulnerabilities. In 2021, they added and bundled together several logging-related topics into a single ranking of 9th most critical problem. What's the big deal with logging? Logging is an event log. We write what happened, when, and why it happened. This event log is used to monitor the system's operation, understand if something bad is happening, such as a hacker attack. After a breach, log analysis reveals what damage was done and how to fix it. Loggers provide separation of concerns. What does that mean? As coders, we only need to write what happened and why. The logger adds the when, and monitoring can be handled by another non-programmer team member. If a breach occurs, a specialist incident response team can analyze the log. So what should we write to the log? We have prevent. The second E tells us what to log: events, errors, and exceptions. Let's see the logging of events in the app's code. On the left, we have the files list. If you don't see it, you can access it by clicking here. I will open source/java/controllers/quiz controller. Careful not to open spoilers. Scrolling down in the code, we reach this code snippet. This line writes an event to the logger. The event is the client requesting the /answer page with specific username and user answer parameters. We are also writing to another, different, second logger. We can have multiple loggers, each with its own unique name. In this code, I use answers logger to log whether a user was right or wrong. So where are the loggers defined? If you look at the top of the file, you can see the static variables defining them. If we look at the sample log file output at the lower right of the screen, we see that each line includes the logger's name. Answers means it was answers logger, and quiz controller means it was logger, which is used in this code as a general purpose logger. If we go back to how they are defined, reminder at the top of the class, we can see that logger was initialized to the name of the class quiz controller by asking the class for its name, while answers logger was initialized with a hard-coded string name answers. This is why we see answers in squared brackets on each line this logger outputs. We can also see that answers logger is used to log at two logging levels using the info and warning methods. The difference can be seen in the output. When it is a warning, we see it in orange. When it is an info message, we see it in green. This is an abuse of log levels. These levels are meant to indicate exactly what their name says. Warning should be used for warnings. However, for educational purposes, I wanted a different color for correct answers, orange, so I appropriated the warning level. This is hopefully not a common practice. It is highly discouraged as it distorts the purpose of these levels. Loggers are a very complex system. It's a whole world to learn. Fortunately, we don't need to learn it all. A major benefit of loggers is that they provide a separation of concerns. Thanks to this, our concern as programmers is only to output the information and specify its criticality level. Case in point, the logging.properties configuration file. It's at the root folder level. You can see that at the bottom of the file, there is an additional output file definition. If we uncomment these lines, a file named answers.txt will be created, containing only cases where users answered correctly. How does this magic happen? Here the file name answers.txt is defined, and here I specify that only things at the warning level and above should be written to answers.txt. When calling logging methods, only messages sent to the logger matching the name answers and logging level warning are output to answers.txt, resulting in a file that contains only the users that answered correctly. How is this related to separation of concerns? Because a configuration file is used, this type of filtering and message redirection does not require a programmer intervention, relieving us coders from designing logging output targets and their usage. So that was a brief introduction to loggers. In the next video, we will see a logging-related vulnerability.